Hi, Tammy Lawrence, Symbolisty here, yoga teacher for the city of Cambridge. I'm going to guide you through a gentle practice today. So you can lie down on your backs to get started, or if you prefer, you might choose to be seated, whichever you like. If you are lying down onto your backs, start by wiggling around until your spines feel long and straight. Roll the shoulders back and down from the ears so the flat sides of the shoulder blades are supported beneath you. Let's spin the palms of the hands to face toward the ceiling. And start to notice that gentle wave of breath flowing in and out of your body. And by any amount, start to let your out-breath be longer than the intake of air. Inviting yourself to breathe in such a way that you're drawn into a state of rest and relaxation. In a moment, when we start to move the body, just be mindful that you're never pushing it further than it's ready to go. If you like, let's open the practice chanting Om together 3 times. So taking the palms against each other in front of your heart space. Receiving an elongated in-breath. That's it. Now let's begin to wiggle the fingers and the toes. We'll circle the wrists and the ankles. And eventually, let's bend the knees and place the soles of the feet flat against the floor and about hips distance apart. And we'll float your arms into a nice and wide T position. Before we go any further, lift your seat up, drag it closer to the heels, and then place the sacrum back onto the floor. As you exhale, let your head roll to one side. As you inhale, roll the head to the other side. And just keep that going ever so gently, side to side. Inviting yourself to move with either an inhalation or an exhalation. And that's it. Let's drop into the simple spinal twist now, just letting the knees fall in the opposite direction of your head. So the knees are falling to one side, the head is looking in the opposite direction, just warming up the spine and bringing healthy synovial fluid to the joints, which helps with mobility and flexibility. Sink deeply into your shoulders as you continue to explore. Any speed, but again, moving with the intake of air or with the out breath. That's it, and just one more time per side. As your knees come back to the center, reorganizing the feet about hips distance apart. Let's inhale here. As you exhale, bring the palms against each other in front of the heart space. Inhale, take the arms up and overhead. And then as you exhale, press away the walls. So exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, arms overhead. Now if that's not comfortable, towards the ceiling will do. And then release your arms to a T position. So a couple of options for you there. Exhaling, hands in. Inhale, arms up any height. And exhale, pressing away the walls. Good. Again, bring the hands in. Inhale the arms up. And then this time, as you press the walls away, bring your right knee in and give it a nice big hug. And release. Inhale the arms up halfway. Exhaling, namaste. Inhale the arms up. Exhaling, press the walls away and bring the left knee up and in for a nice big hug. And then release. So this is a variation that you could keep going with if your back is feeling tender today. So you might just keep going with this level or this version. We are going to straighten one of the legs in a moment, or both legs, and explore it in that fashion. And that would be suitable as long as your back is not feeling tender. If it's feeling tender, please keep going with this level or variation. So otherwise, we'll take your legs along the floor support. The breathing is the same. Exhaling, hands in. Inhaling, arms up. Exhale, pressing away the walls. Bring your right knee up and in for a hug. And release. Left hand side, same thing. So left knee in for a hug. And release. Keep it going. Good, one more time per side. Very good. Now after you T-position your arms this time, exhale, bring the hands to the heart. Inhale, invite the arms towards the ceiling, or again, up and overhead. And then as you exhale, press into the heels, press the walls away, and in time, gather the knees all the way up and into the belly for a nice big hug. And you'll let yourself just wiggle around until your spine feels long and straight there. After that, holding onto the knees or the outside edges of your legs and just taking the legs to straighten them towards the ceiling. Now, if you're finding that the back of the legs are feeling super tight today, you might just do a micro bend in the knee versus forcing the leg perfectly straight. Never forcing. And again, if the back is tender, you can do the same thing. Just extend one leg and then plant the foot so that it isn't, you don't have the knees up and into the belly. So if you need to change and modify, please go ahead and do that. Otherwise, let's take both of the legs upward towards the ceiling now, just one leg if you have to have a knee bent and the foot to the floor. Good, and then bending the knees, bring them back down in for a hug, and then releasing the legs back along the floor support, or knees bent, feet against the floor. Inhale here. Exhaling, hands to heart. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, press the walls away. Bring your right knee in, give it a hug, and release. T-position your arms, inhale. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, bring that left knee up and in for a hug. Good, and release. Inhale. Exhale, hands to chest. And taking the arms up and overhead, this time as you press the walls away, gather the knees in for a hug. Invite the legs to lift towards the ceiling and arms come up and overhead, just pausing here. Now if you want to, you just could have one leg into the air, not both. As you breathe, 3 cycles of breath here. And release, planting the feet onto the floor. If your arms are not comfortable up and overhead, you might choose a T position. But regardless of what you do, keeping your nose pointed towards the ceiling so you're not looking to the right nor to the left. As you exhale, tilt your pelvis posteriorly so you're gluing the lumbar spine into the mat, no space between the mat and the floor. Start to press your feet down and forward as your hips and pelvis begin to rise upward towards the ceiling. Satya Bandhasana, little bridge pose, lift and hold. That's it, and let's slowly come down. Let's let the arms guide you down. So starting to lower your hands, and as you do, releasing the vertebrae independently and consecutively so that the seat and the hands land down to your mat, ideally at the bottom of your out breath. You got it. From there, lifting your chin, draw it up and into the chest, and then wiggle yourself onto your elbows, walking onto your hands, coming all the way upright, scooping the seat back through your hands and straightening your legs. When you get up here, Dandasana, staff pose, sitting up long and tall, shoulders are back and down. Okay, inhale, the arms up halfway. Exhaling, namaste. Inhale, the arms up. As you exhale, hinge forward from the hip joint, reach down to grab hold of your right foot. Bend the knee, place the foot on the floor, and put a little pressure on that foot as if you're about to take a step forward. And then release. Inhale, the arms up halfway. Exhaling, namaste. You know where we're going, right? Left leg. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hinge forward. Take hold of the left leg, bend the knee, land the foot, a little pressure on the foot as if you're about to take a step, and then release. Inhale, the arms up halfway. Exhaling, namaste. Inhale, take your arms high, and this time exhale, swan dive over your legs, and here you'll just find that natural stopping point. So taking your hands to your legs, bow your head to yourself. Send your breath along the back side of your body. Don't worry about touching the feet. There isn't any extra bonus if you get down that far. And then start to stack the vertebrae on top of each other until you find your way all the way back up, seated long and tall. We'll scoop the hands behind you. Ideally, fingertips are turned inwards, but if you have to spin your hands a different direction, that's okay. Little counter movement, lifting up through the chest, tilt your pelvis anteriorly. So you're taking the pelvis forward, opening up, think dog pose, right? Through the chest, look up with your head. Good, and release. Inhale, the arms up halfway. Exhaling, namaste. Inhale, arms up, and exhale, hinge forward, take hold of your right leg. Again, you're bending the knee, foot to the floor, a little pressure on that foot. And then release. Inhale, the arms up halfway. Exhaling, namaste, left legs turn. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, come forward. Take hold of the left leg. Again, bring the heel close to the sitting bone, a little weight on the foot, and then release. Inhale, the arms up halfway. Exhaling, namaste. Forward bend now. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, and allow yourself just to give over into that nice forward fold opening the whole back side of your body. Nice, stack the vertebrae on top of each other. As you come up, gather your hands behind you, maybe turning your fingertips inward. If that's not comfortable, then don't worry about it. You can leave the legs straight or bend the knees, place the feet against the floor, hips distance apart, big toes closer than the heels. Again, lift through the chest, shoulders back and down. Look up with your eyes, don't let your head fall all of the way back. And that might be plenty for you. Or maybe now you'll invite the hips and pelvis to lift upward toward the ceiling here. 3 cycles of breath. Nice, and then release. So we're going to make our way up to standing, and if the way that I'm going to guide you doesn't serve your practice, then please just find your own way up to the top end of your mat. Maybe you'll cross your ankles over top of one another. Lean yourself forward so you can come onto hands and knees and then just flip your legs back behind you, taking your knees so they're right underneath the hips. As you exhale, arch and round your back, a nice big cat stretch. As you inhale, stick your seat out, drop your belly to the floor, shoulders back and down, look up with your head. Curl the toes under, exhale, arch and round, cat. And then lift the knees up off the floor, hinge yourself all the way back, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Get those sitting bones high into the air. A nice elongated back. And then pedal into the heels here. Don't force your heels to make full contact with the floor if that's not comfortable. And then coming into standing forward bend, you might get there by walking your feet towards your hands. Some people prefer walking the hands back towards your feet, while others will do a combination of both of those things. When you get to the top or back end of the mat, big toes are closer than the heels. There's a small bend in the knees. Transition your hands to your knees. Again, standing cat stretch. So tailbone under, chin to chest. Start to elevate. And then start stacking the vertebrae on top of one another until you get all the way up to right, chin to chest, until you get to the top. Go extra slow so you don't get lightheaded or dizzy. Good. And then making your way to the top end of the mat. Inhale the arms up halfway. Exhaling, namaste. Inhale the arms up. Exhaling, hinging forward from the hip joint. Now you might only come half of the way down here and bend the knees, where other people will let their fingertips touch right down onto the floor. Inhale, take a big step back with your right leg. Got it. Go ahead and step that foot forward. Exhale, forward fold. Reverse a swan dive. Inhaling, lifting up and out. Exhaling, hands to the heart. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. So say I'm only doing the variation of coming halfway down. So I might just bend the knees and then take a big step back with the left foot, turning the toes out and the heel in, and I can land that foot right onto the floor. Others, you're going to be on the tiptoes of that back foot, deeper into the lunge, and fingertips on the floor. Lift up with the head. Again, not overdoing. Keep the head in line with the spine. Inhale. Good, and as you exhale, and then inhale again, step the left foot forward, then let your breath release. Soften the knees, lift the pelvic floor, belly button to spine, reverse a swan dive, all the way up and out. Exhaling, hands in front of the heart. Nice, inhale the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. So again, if you are not touching the floor, that's fine, you'll just do it from standing. Otherwise, we're bending the knees, right leg back to a lunge, and pause. Make sure the left knee is right on top of that left ankle if you are in the lower lunge. Inhale, bring the right leg forward. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, reverse the swan dive. Exhaling, hands in front of the heart. Second side, inhale, arms up. Exhale, dive, forward fold. Left leg back, inhale. Again, make sure right knee stays on top of that right ankle. Knee's not going past the toes. Good. Inhale, step the left foot forward. Exhale. Belly button in, lift the pelvic floor. Inhale, lifting up, and exhaling, hands to heart. So you might keep going with that. We'll just do a demonstration of what it might look like if you're not coming low onto the floor into the lunge. So we might inhale the arms up. Exhaling, forward fold half of the way. Soften the knees, lift the chest. Inhale, step the right leg back. And exhale. Inhale, bring your right leg forward. Soften the knees. Again, reverse the swan dive to stand. Exhale, hands to heart. If you're really comfortable with those low lunges, don't worry about standing. Go deeper. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Soften the knees, lift the chest. Second side. Make sure you're breathing. Nice, long, full breaths. Left foot forward. Reverse your swan dive and come out. Okay, one more set. So do it from standing or go to the floor. Exhale, fingertips frame your feet. Right leg back. Inhale, step forward. Uttanasana, forward bend. Inhale, reverse your swan dive. Exhale, hands in. Second side. Inhale, footsteps forward. Exhale, possibly Uttanasana, standing forward bend. Inhaling, lifting up and out. Exhaling, hands in front of the heart. Okay, just turning sideways, so facing towards the camera. Let's take your right hand to hold the left wrist, right, left, right. Take the arm up towards the ceiling. Across from the chest is fine if you're not comfortable to take the arms that high. Side bend to the right. Good. Inhale, come up and out. Let your hands descend. Trade the cross of the hands. So left hand, right wrist, arms rising any height. Exhale, side bend. Left. I never know my right from my left, but if you've practiced with me before, you know this. Nice. Inhale, coming up. And release your arms. Just letting the arms swing back and forth. As you do that, put a little bend in your knees, so get a double bounce there. So you bounce as the arms swing forward, bounce as the arms swing back. That's it, just letting everything hang loose, shaking things out. Last time. Straighten your legs. You got it. Shake your legs, take your feet a little bit wider apart. Empty coat sleeves, standing twist. So just letting the arms swing around here. If you like, you might choose to start to spin on the feet so it translates right down to your toes. That's it, and then slow it down. As you slow it down, turning the big toes to point straight ahead. You'll heel toe walk your feet hips distance apart. Big toes are closer than your heels. As you take your right hand now and just sweep down the left arm like you're trying to get dust off of the arm. You might even go right into the neck, maybe a bit of the shoulder. And then the other, same thing on the other side. So sweep down the left arm, all four sides. Again, if you wanted, you might get into the neck and the shoulder. Good, and then sweeping off your chest like you're trying to get lunch or breakfast or supper, whatever, off of your chest. And then down to the belly, the front of your hips. And then start to travel all the way down your legs. Bending the knees. Some people will go all the way down to the ankles. But I do all four sides of your legs here. So all four sides of the shin bones, ankles, and then the back of the knees, the thighs, into your lower back. Just wherever you can comfortably reach there. Maybe up into the kidneys, just gentle with that. Nice. And then eventually just dangling your arms. Standing up long and tall. Closing the eyes. And just take a moment here to sense and feel. Noticing maybe a tingling sensation, increased circulation, or additional prana or life force. Very good. Now we're going to come on back down to the floor in a moment. Again, if this way doesn't serve your practice, please find your own way down. So maybe you'll slide your hands to the front of your legs. Drop your chin to the chest and start to release your vertebrae one at a time. Again, you may have to bend the knees quite deeply. We're on our way to a seated position. Sticking the seat way out behind you. And then as it's comfortable, just coming all the way down to the floor. Straighten your legs when you arrive. A little rocking, shaking, or bouncing out of the legs. And then, just like we got ourselves up to seated, we'll come back down to the floor in that same fashion. So leaning your hands back behind you, slowly dropping down onto your elbows. Maybe drag your heels back a little closer so you can settle in comfortably onto your back. There you go, reorganizing yourself. Again, changing or reorganizing clothing if needed, finding the center of the mat so we can drop into Mahashavasana or the Great Corpse Pose. So I invite the palms of the hands to face towards the ceiling. Shoulders are back and down. And we close the eyes to draw the awareness internally. Starting to soften the whole front side of the body. So a superficial softening, just meaning the top layers of the skin. So resting the forehead, the facial muscles, the front of the arms, hands, and fingers. Chest and abdomen. Tops of the thighs and kneecaps, the shin bones and the tops of your feet. Okay, now let's go through that again, but this time we'll sink 2 or 3 inches deep into the body. So we'll start from the crown of the head, inviting the brain to relax, so sinking about 2 inches, 3 inches deep from the center of the forehead. And then relaxing more fully the back of the sinus cavity. Sensing the air moving through the windpipe. Relax the lungs, the heart muscle in the chest. All of those other interesting internal organs relaxing. Soften the pelvic floor. The bones of the legs now, so relaxing deeply the femur, thigh bone, lower legs, right down to the very center of the feet. You got it. Come all the way back up to the crown of the head. Now the parts of the body that have contact with the floor, let's let them sink deeper. So the back of the skull, the width of the shoulder blades, the back of the arms, and the back of the hands. The sacrum and glutes. Whatever part of the legs and heels that have contact with the floor. That's it. And then inviting the whole front of the body to sink deeper into the backside body, which is still sinking deeper into the floor. Deeply resting here. And as you rest, I'll mind the time. So just enjoy resting a minute longer or so. If you choose, you may wish to remain in this relaxation pose for some time longer. Otherwise, let's start to wake the body back up. You're just moving it whichever way you feel the need to move. Eventually returning to a seated posture. And once upright, taking the hands back to the prayer position, letting the eyes close and bowing your head down to yourself. Let's seal our practice chanting Om together just one time. Again, receiving an elongated inhalation. And we say thank you and namaste. Thank you for practicing with me. I wish you a fantastic week.